welcome. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Monday, the Monday, 6th of July, 2026. I am Warren. This is the Monday stream here on the Mr. Warren Hayes Show channel. That's right. I sniffle on air. There's something wrong with my eye tonight. Hopefully it doesn't bug me too much. There's something wrong with it. I mean, nothing wrong. Like, not wrong in the sense it's not working well. It's still operating perfectly. Don't get me wrong. There's just something wrong with it. It's itchy. That's what that's the thing. An itchy eye. I've been putting cold compresses on. You put a compress that is cold. Also nice because, the weather is pretty warm. Anyway, hope everyone had a lovely weekend. Hope all you Yanks enjoyed your 4th of July weekend with all of your, histrionics. And then the Canadians had the 1st of July, just, less than a week ago. So, like the big country celebration days, they're all out of the way now. We're all done. Now we can continue moping about our country, not pretending to be patriotic or, loving our country for everything it's got. No, now we can go back to doing what we do best. It's just being overtly cynical about things in our respective countries. I had a lovely weekend, very relaxing. You know what I did this weekend? I did a little retro gaming. I got back into the old retro gaming, folks. Fired up, I saw a couple of games there on the Steam summer sale. And I was like, oh, let's get into the old retro gaming. I decided to play Mass Effect 1, which is wild to consider, but it's a game that's going to be turning 20 years old next year, right? It was released in 2007. It's crazy. I mean, wouldn't we consider it like a retro game at this point? I sure do. I sure as hell consider that a retro game. So that was a lot of fun. Didn't spend all that much time outside. I'm not a summer guy. I'm really not. It just gets too overwhelming. And plus, my dog, which is a northern dog, like from the true Great White North, not where the rest of us pretend is the true the Great White North. I'm talking like Nunavut, like up in the Canadian territories, right? The northern territories. Like, she doesn't like winter. No, she loves winter. She doesn't like summer. It's not good. Like, she really is not into it, and I don't blame her. But when you're a black doggy, furry as hell, like, this time of year is miserable. She really, really doesn't like it. And you can tell she goes outside and she's very listless and she's always looking for shade. And it's like, all right, let's go back in. And when it's really fucking hot, well, you don't go walking your dog on the, on the fucking hot asphalt. You wouldn't walk on asphalt. I'm not gonna have my dog walk on asphalt that I could cook an egg on. You know what I'm talking about? So, taking good care of the doggy, but had a lovely weekend nonetheless. Lovely, tremendous. Oh, watched a movie film, the Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Lee Cronin's The Mummy. And spoiler alert, he is not the mummy. That's a review I saw on Letterboxd that I thought was really funny. Yeah, I'm not sure about that movie. I wasn't sure about it. she as in Kristen really liked it. I was like, I don't like it as much as you do. I think it was an honest effort. And this was the same Lee Cronin who directed Evil Dead Rise, which I thought was a hoot and a holler. It was tremendous. And I think that's what he tried to replicate. He tried to do like Deadites, but with mummies. And, you know, like, I know a lot of people really didn't like it because, you know, there was a big critical consensus around the fact that, oh, well, it's not really a mummy. She's, you know, she's more like a possessed demon. It's not really a mummy story. You know, where are all the curses and, you know, and all that. I'm like, you know, I don't mind having my expectations subverted. That, you know, in fact, I invite it. It surprises me. Like if you can pull it off, it makes me happy. But I think here, I think it was just not really well executed. I think I ended up not caring about the characters first and foremost, you know, because at some point I'm like, these parents are fucking stupid, you know, and then like there's a complete and utter tonal shift like towards the back end of the film where you're like, okay, you know, she was, you know, I was watching the whole thing at the end and I was like, you know, I don't know. It just got, I couldn't deal with the tonal shift, which is weird because what's that, the Sydney Sweeney movie where she's a nun? Innocence, Inquisition, in depth. What's it called? It's a couple of years old now. Sweeney, nun movie. Hopefully I don't get anything weird. Immaculate is the word I'm looking for. Now that's a movie that has a crazy break, but it worked. Whereas this one here, I'm like, I don't know. Felt like it was. It feels like it. Like this one here. It felt like it tried too hard. Whereas Immaculate, it's just completely goes off the rails, and like and like in a completely unexpected fashion. I don't know. You know. And you know, there's so many poor decisions made throughout the movie by the family, the main characters, the parents, and I'm like, all these people are stupid. I don't like them. Each and every one of them are dumb. None of them are really likable. Like, all right, you know, whatever. And you know, and I feel like there were a couple of scenes that were just there for like just pure shock value, particularly involving the younger sister. There's a bunch of stuff that I thought was going to be really interesting, but it turned out being okay. Like I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the movie, but I didn't necessarily. I'm not necessarily climbing up the walls here. Not exactly super stoked. Not exactly looking forward to ever watching it again. I probably that'll be like tucked away and will never be thought of again. But that's just me. I mean, you know, I think I have good taste in movies. Who doesn't think that they have good taste in movies? Like, have you ever met anyone who's like, no, my taste in film is horrible? Like, I think everyone by default thinks they have good taste in movies. Or at least have like if not good taste, you know, where they'll outright say, oh, I have good taste in movies. They'll be like, oh, well, you know, my taste in movies is very particular, you know. Or, you know, it's like, oh, well, I really like these I really like comedies. I really like, you know, quirky art house films. I like you know, elevated horror. I like schlock, you know. But I think everyone at some point is like, yes, I have good, you know, I have good taste in movies. I've never met anyone saying I have horrible taste in film. So my point is moot, is what I'm trying to say. My point is just moot. Meggy O'Cannon, nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. Also, just happens to be a member of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show channel. The woman who plays the mummy, she's amazing. She's the villain in Malignant. Oh, really? She's the same. And she's also Gretel in that John Wick Continental series spinoff. I did not see the Continentals, the Continental show, but I did see Malignant, another very meh horror movie. I was like, it's fine. You know, it's like, it's all right. It's cool. You know, it's the kind of movie unless people mention it to me, I forget about it. But I agree, she was good. If if the script wasn't a little derivative. Rory Starks, nice to see you as well. Welcome to the chat. Ugh. So that's the story of the last couple of days, and I wanted to catch up today and watch the big New Japan stuff that happened earlier today. We got ourselves a brand new global champion where Gabe Kidd defeated Shota Umino. But I haven't watched the match yet. I wanted to catch the match before starting the stream. I wanted to plop down and watch it and be able to give some thoughts on it. But unfortunately, I had a little situation that I had to deal with that required a little more personal investment. So I couldn't do it, but I will very, very likely talk about it this Thursday. Apparently it was very good. Apparently it was a very, very good match, and I'm not really surprised. I find that Umino and Gabe Kidd work well together. Like Umino works well with Yumera, I find specifically, and Gabe Kidd. And apparently they pulled it off. They pulled off a really good one. So I'm very excited to see that. I'll come around and talk about it on Thursday. Plus, there was the junior heavyweight tag match, not tag, just junior heavyweight championship match, where Sho defeated Francesco Akira. I have been told that as well is excellent, but I'm very cautious. Because it's Sho, not because of Francesco Akira. I think Francesco Akira rules. I think he's great, but yeah, I think the rest is. I think the rest is pretty skippable. I heard the G1 qualifiers were very skippable as well. Like Oscar won and Ryohei Oiwa, right? Wasn't it Oiwa that was left? They went over. They're moving on. So, and I thought I heard the matches were nothing special. So, there you go. It's like, so I'm excited. I'm excited to check all of that out, and we'll talk about it on Thursday, because Thursday we are going to be officially previewing the G1 Climax 36, which begins this weekend over there in Chicagoland. So we're going to be at the Sears Center. When they don't call it the Sears Center anymore, at the I forget what they call it. The Now Arena, is that what they call it? That's it, right? Came very close to hopping on a flight to go catch it. Came very close, but it's not going to be possible. But it would have been pretty neat. But look, it's not happening. It's not happening. But you see, like, it's very easy to fly to Chicago from Quebec City. There's direct flights. There's direct flights from Quebec to Chicago, which is pretty rad. So it wouldn't have been that big of a problem. In and out, fly back home the next day type of thing. But it wasn't in the cards. Not this time. Not for this G1. Anyway, so that'll be. So we're going to be previewing the G1 this Thursday on stream. So full breakdown. We're all ready. We're all ready to go. And your boy Warren, guess what? I have decided it is in the cards. It is engraved into marble at this point. I will be doing daily G1 coverage of the tournament this year. So again, like I didn't do it last year because I was traveling when it started. I was traveling in the US, went to All In and all that good stuff. And so I didn't get around to, when I got back to Canada, I was like, do I start? And I was like, the tournament's already started. Feels weird to jump in, when the tournament's already begun. And like, never mind. Not this year. But this year we're back. This year we're back doing it. And we're starting this upcoming weekend. We've got 2 nights, right? Do we have 2 nights? No. We have the 1 night. No, that's it. It's only in Chicago on the 11th. And then then it continues a week later. Everyone flies back to Japan. And then we get into the routine. So expect that starting this weekend. G1 Climax 36 daily coverage from your boy Warren. Gonna break everything down as we go along. Gonna keep you abreast of everything good and everything bad that's happening. We're gonna be eliminating fools. Look, I'm not gonna get into the full talk, but the one thing that I'm hoping that will happen in the G1 this year, although I'm not holding my breath, I hope there are no blocks where one block is just like a logjam at guys who just have the same amount of points through it, like 6 guys who have the same amount of points. Kind of like they did that last year. They did that at the Best of Super Juniors this year, and I don't think that's compelling. I don't think that's interesting. Like, I like the idea of a guy being at the top or 2, and then everyone starts chasing these people. That I like more so than this gray blob of guys who are all like at 6 points. I'm like, ugh. Like, that's very boring. I don't think it makes for compelling tournament viewing in pro wrestling. You get one guy who starts rocketing up and you're like, holy shit, look at him go, and you're like, oh well, and you think to yourself, oh, maybe as we move on, his push is going to stall. And that's interesting. That's more interesting than everyone at 6 points, everyone at 8 points. Like, yuck. That's kind of dull. Does it make things more interesting? Is it just me, chat? Is it just me? Or like, is this legitimately a way to maintain interest so that people will go buy tickets? Because if if it suddenly becomes obvious that, oh, it's these 2 guys who are going forward, then people are not going to buy tickets to go see the tournaments. Is this the tactic? Is this the technique? I don't think it's very good, quite frankly. Anyway, we'll be getting into all of that more in depth on Thursday, and then starting this weekend, G1 Climax 36 daily coverage. I was going to say reporting, not reporting, coverage. So I hope you're excited for that. Not a lot of people do that. See, this is the kind of thing that, like I expect a website like the Wrestling Observer website to give us the old G1 coverage, right? They're going to post the results, right? But they're not going to give like analysis daily. They're not going to give like some daily snippets, some insights or whatnot. They're just going to post the results and move on. And if this is like it just sort of ties into things that we've been talking about recently, in particular in regards to, the quality of wrestling media right now, and where do the smart fans, where do they turn to get some real coverage, to get some coverage they can sink their teeth into, instead of always stuff like Mandy Rose is pregnant. It's like, that's nice for her, but I don't like that's not something I consider to be really exciting smart fan news. It's more, it's celebrity gossip bullshit, Don't get me wrong, congratulations, because she is pregnant. Congratulations to her and her husband, boyfriend, fiance. I don't know what her setup is. Her man. Congratulations to them both on the first child, and that's exciting. I'm very happy for them. But it's not it's not news. Like, you post that on an Instagram and you scroll through it and oh, that's nice. Like, but I don't need like articles and thought pieces, and like, I don't need that. But also maybe I'm alone in this. Like, I just want a place. I want places for hardcores as well. I understand being general as much as possible, creating as much general high level content as possible to get as many casual fans in, and whatnot. I understand all why you do it as a website. It's just like sometimes, these are also people that eventually are going to drop off, and where are they going to go? I'm going to go into something else. Anyway. Sports and Things Show's nice to see you, Carlos. Welcome to the chat. It is nice to see you. D. Owens, nice to see you as well. Welcome, brother. It is D. Owens of the number 65, who is also a member of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show channel. Warren competing with Punk in the World Cup tonight. Listen, I fear no man or mans. I especially don't fear Phil Brooks. I think it's really funny that WWE are treating this like a big return, like this huge thing, when he's just been gone for like April, May, June, July, like 4 months, 3 months, 3.5, 4 months, 4 months tops, right? I think it's really funny that everyone is like, oh, he's back. I'm like, who cares? I hope he doesn't have it. I hope they give him a live mic tonight. As it, listen, not that it wouldn't happen. Not that it is absolutely out of the realm of possibility that wouldn't happen. But there is no way Phil Brooks is going out there and shooting. He's not going out there without all his bases being covered. Everything that he's going out there to talk about is covered and well taken care of. Not 2026 CM Punk. Not 2026 CM Punk. 2007 CM Punk maybe. 2012 CM Punk maybe. Hell, 2021 CM Punk maybe. But CM Punk in 2026? There's no way. No way. Big Man Dogs, nice to see you. Welcome to the chat as well. Obscurity Knox, also nice to see you, brother. Welcome. Also member of the channel. I fear Phil Brooks, he may open his mouth again. Warren fears the World Cup. No, I don't. I do not fear any cups. Hey, leave a like on this stream as you are here right now enjoying the opening proceedings here. If you are a YouTube person who follows everything I do on YouTube, and you're like this week, say, hey, Warren, what happened to the Mr. Warren Hayes Show? You didn't publish it. You forgot it, you big stupid fuck. You fat fuck. First of all, I'm not fat. Kind of. I'm chubby. I'm delightfully chubby. The Mr. Warren Hayes Show, no longer a part of the YouTube environment. We talked about it briefly on stream last week, but I don't mind repeating it also this week. The Mr. Warren Hayes Show now exclusively will live in audio format on the audio podcast application. So on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Yes, that's still the name of the application. iHeartRadio and Podbean. Is that even still around? All of that. All those. That's where you find the Mr. Warren Hayes Show moving forward. I have decided to, instead of holding on to all of the great clips that we produce here on stream and then compile them into one video to air once a week, I decided to go down the smarter YouTube route, and that is create the clips, put them out there on YouTube, and let people consume them, and then YouTube will be like, oh, isn't this nice, all the content that he is providing for us and potential sources of extra revenue as well. That's essentially it. That's what I'm doing moving forward. So, I think my neighbors just got up. My neighbors, we talked about my noisy neighbors, which don't bother me, but if you hear them, please point it out to me. So that's it. The Mr. Warren Hayes Show is a thing of the past on YouTube. Will not exist moving forward. But if you want to still hang on to that, subscribe, follow on your favorite podcast application. That's where everything will happen there. Otherwise, the Dynamite review will stay the same. That is also sticking around. Will also be on the. Will also be on YouTube and on the Mr. Warren Hayes Show as well, on the Mr. Warren Hayes Show podcast as well. So, still everything hanging around and being nifty cool. Being nifty cool. And also tomorrow I am going to be joining Andrew Rich over there on the Music of the Mat podcast, Music of the Mat remix podcast, talking about music for a couple of hours with him. So be sure to check that out. Subscribe to the Voices of Wrestling podcast feed wherever you may consume your podcast, or the one specifically for Music on the Mat remix. It's tremendous. It was a very good one. I love it when Andrew has me on. We talk a lot about music and it's really fun. So there you go. So there you go. I think I've washed my hands of everything. I think we're slowly in the vibe to get things going here. Warren is plump might be no, I don't think plump is the correct adjective. Plump implies a little tubbier than what I am right now. Just a little bit. Warren is stout husky. I'm not husky, no. And I can't. I'm 6'1". I don't think you can be stout when you're 6'1". That's the thing. Like if I were shorter, I think stout would apply. I know WWE, he's going to turn heel to Cheers in his hometown, and then Cody feuds with him, and they go, "Oh shit, why is Cody getting booed? What do we do now?" As far as the CM Punk thing, I'm gonna tell you one thing. One of the best decisions I have ever made is to stop watching and covering WWE. It is such a relief. It is it is really a mental relief to not have to go through all of the fucking nonsense that this promotion puts out on a weekly basis, because there is a lot of nonsense. You know what I ended up watching? This weekend? That Shiloh Hill match from NXT Great American Bash, because someone talked to me about it and I didn't believe it. Okay? I was like, "You're making this shit up." And they were like, "No, I swear to God, go watch it," right? And then I listened to Joe and Rich review it on the flagship, and I'm like, "This is insane." This is crazy. And you know what the thing, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's Shiloh Hill. He's like a spooky guy, right? Not a spooky guy. He's mentally disturbed. Okay, I think, or he's possessed by demons. It's something to that effect. And he goes under the ring, and this is on, mind you, on a WWE program, a WWE branded program on the CW. Okay, this is being passed off as a high level WWE program. And he's having his, and I don't remember against who, and it really doesn't matter. And at some point, Shiloh Hill goes under the ring, and then his opponent is like looking for him, right? And he's like, "Where did he go?" He's going like this. Which way did he go? Which way did he go? You know. And Shiloh Hill then like grabs him by the heels from under the ring, and then drags him under the ring. And then for some godforsaken reason, there's a camera set up under the ring with LED mood lights. And I'm not shitting you. There's a camera under the ring. There's lighting set up. And you see the guy, not the Shiloh Hill dude, the guy who's like, what's going on? And he's like, he's like scared. He's like, as if like in a horror movie when someone gets, dragged into a crawl space or whatever, right? And he's there, and there's a phone that's there. And it starts ringing. And he picks up the phone. And then there's an evil voice on the other side of the phone, that obviously, thankfully, like he put it on he didn't put it on speaker, right? He put it up to his ear, but you could hear it loud enough, again, very coincidentally that the microphones set up there were able to pick up this phone. And it said, the voice says something like, you are about to be consumed by the darkness. Some shit like that. The darkness is coming. Like the most generic, bland fucking shit, right? And then there's a guy who pops up. We're still under the ring. This is all happening under the ring. And there's a guy that pops up behind him, and he's got like a mask on. And then so we're all assuming it's Shiloh Hill. And then the other guy is like, and then it cuts to the camera outside the ring where Shiloh Hill comes out, and I think he wins the match, but I don't know because I had my head in my hands, and I'm like, and I'm legitimately wondering who the fuck watches this and says, "Good shit, pal." Who the fuck? Okay, let's backtrack a little bit. I don't know who watches this with a fully formed brain, a fully formed adult brain, fully formed enough to vote and pay taxes, okay? I don't know who watches this and says, that was pretty good. Because there was nothing good about it. Even if you're like, oh, but it's campy, it's not. It's shit. It's shit campy. I love campy stuff, but there's a way to do it so that it's entertaining and good. I watch more than enough horror movies to know when I'm watching schlock and turn my brain off. It's like this is irredeemable, inconsequential, idiotic bullshit that WWE is passing off as something you should be into, that we think you will enjoy this. And again, just goes to show how little they think about their audience. If they're like, yes, you grown adults, you will be our grown adult audience, 18 to 45, 18 to 49, excuse me, are truly going to enjoy this. They're not designing this for the children. They're designing this for the demo. I mean, if you're 7 years old, you look at this, you sort of go, ee, because I'm a literal child. Like, I had to see it for myself. And look, if you don't believe me, because this great description makes you sound like you're making it, makes it sound like you're making it up, but I'm not. I'm not. It's such garbage. It is so bad. And the minute that they cut with cameras under the ring, folks, when is the last time there have been cameras under a wrestling ring? There's never been any precedent for this. It's so frustratingly idiotic and moronic. I don't know how anyone enjoys this. I really don't know. Because it's not even good TV. Here's the, like, outside of anything that you know, NXT or WWE versus AEW or anything, like, regardless of how you feel about the company and its ethics, regardless of all of that, the fanboy wars, and it doesn't matter. Objectively, you look at what's happening and you're like, this is not good television. This is just not good. Like, there is no television show on planet Earth that would have the balls to put this on TV and say, look at our great episode here. But WWE seems to just think that, you know, their stupid ass fans will just lap it all up, and they do. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. But it was legitimately bad. And it's in these circumstances, after looking at this, after saying to myself, like, this is not even good television, like, I would beg anyone watching this on NXT thinking that this is good, I beg of them to just watch anything else. Literally anything else. And I'm not talking pro wrestling. I'm not talking to go back and watch the Holy Demon Army kick some ass. None of that. That's not what I'm talking about. Literally anything else. Watch, fucking reruns of My Little Pony. Go watch some 80s episodes of the Transformers. They're better than this. It's all better than what you just experienced in this match. Go watch anything else. I am not even kidding. These people don't watch anything else. These people have no standards. They have no brain. There's no one who can sit here and watch this and say legitimately, hey, this is really good. They can't. It's sad. I know there's some people who do. And these people have the same rights as you and me. Oh, might be going a little far there, Warren. Might be going a little far. Anyway. Under the ring in NXT is a liminal space. Hickenbottom saw backrooms. No. Hickenbottom saw clips of backrooms on, social media and whatnot. He said, hey, this is popular right now. We could do something like that, which has always been the WWE way. Just like when Antifa was a thing, right? During the BLM riots, right? What did they do? They pulled out a group of masked thugs throwing cinder blocks through the door at WWE headquarters without any consideration to the societal reasons behind it or, the why things are happening. No, we're going to distill it all the way down to just a stupid ass wrestling angle. It's the same thing. You just see things and you're like, hey, that's popular. We should do that. WWE is the crack cocaine of television. I think there is a case for crack cocaine versus watching NXT. At least versus watching what I saw. You're describing a Heartbreak Kid master stroke? I think I'm describing a Heartbreak Kid stroke. The person I'm more interested in is interested in is what type of person would skip an AEW pay-per-view because they found out there was an NXT show against it. The thing is that that person might exist. We're going to talk about it later tonight. But I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. We had a good one. It truly is sad. And yeah, you said it. You said it, Motown Slim. Nice to see you, brother. Always nice to see Motown Slim, who still has, to this day, no disrespect to anyone here, but to this day has the absolute best username of the entire Mr. Warren Hayes Show online community. Not that there's an offline community, but I'm sorry. Slim has been with us for a while too. I can say this with complete confidence. A lot of you have very good usernames, don't get me wrong. But Motown Slim, that's a whole other level. Anyway, the music's still playing. We could kill the music now. We can kill the music. We haven't even done our we didn't even do our little pre-match rituals. Nothing. What do I mean pre-match? Pre-show. I just jumped in and started complaining. So the best thing we could do right now is this here.
How you doing, everybody? I'm Jacques Moliere. Just let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a nunchuck master, and I represent NWA, Mountain State Wrestling.
Yeah! Hey, it's Patrick on cue. Patrick always picks his spot. Member of the channel on top of that. I watched another thing, but I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you kids about it because I'm going to try and do something with it first. This is all very vague. What did I just do here? I tried to, I'm going to do a thing, but I'm not going to tell you about the thing. That's awful, Warren. This is terrible. But I've got a plan, is what I'm trying to say. Fuck your mama. Nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. Dave loves Kendall Gray, and he might be that guy to switch from Mercedes match. Dave loves Kendall Gray, and he might be that guy to switch from Mercedes match to not for Kendall Gray. It's bogus. He hasn't rated the Maya World Monet match because he's afraid of the backlash after giving Kendall Gray's match 4 3/4 stars. Dave is making this so much more of a bigger deal than he needs to. Dave is making this such a big issue for a fucking star rating. And I enjoy Dave's star ratings for one, because I think they're a great conversation piece. I often chat about it, like in the Discord amongst pals, and it's like, Dave gave this match, 4 3/4 stars. That's insane. Yeah, I agree. It's like, oh, finally he spot on. Oh, he broke the scale again. Like, I don't take them too seriously. Just as I don't give, I don't take my own all too seriously. But like, legitimately, the star ratings that I give really do help me classify everything, just to get the lists done when the end of the year comes, and just to get an overview of stuff, and it like, for me, it's a good tool to jostle my memory. Jostle is also a fun word. But Dave didn't, he's not Dave doesn't, he just should come out, do the rating, and move the fuck on. Like, who cares? Like, who legitimately cares? I'll tell you who cares. All the people who tell you that Dave's ratings don't matter, I should say. Those are the people who'll tell you that this rating is very important. I can't believe he's not. First of all, he's not entitled. Like he can do whatever the fuck he wants. And he should have just given it a rating and moved on. Now he's just making it a big deal. And if he doesn't give it anything other than 5 stars at this point, it's going to create backlash because now he's just built the anticipation. Now people are cracking their knuckles just waiting for him to do it. And if he doesn't do it, well, then people are going to come out and call him a coward. They're going to call him a coward. And I don't think there's like that much of a big, it's a wrestling match. And one, like, if you watched my Forbidden Door review, you know how I feel about the match. Hell, I even clipped it on the channel if you don't want to watch the whole 2 hours and 20 minutes of the review. If you just want to listen to that, I clipped it. It's on the channel. And I didn't like the match. I thought it was sloppy as hell. But what they ended up doing is turn the match into a willful train wreck. That's what they worked towards because Mercedes Moné is an absolute fucking pro at this. This was a Mercedes Moné carry job, and it is the most compelling 3-star match I have ever seen. But I have seen people give this match 4 3/4 stars, saying it's the match of the night, and I'm like, did you watch this match where they're trying to do power bombs, but they can't lift each other? And they're trying over and over again that they're trying to do moves and yes, everything is unfortunate with the fucking wardrobe malfunctions that plagued poor Maya's big match, right? I'm like, it's a bad match, but that was in such a weird bubble and had such a dynamic and enthralling finisher. You're like, okay, well, you know, they tried their best and they made something out of it, but it's still a bad match, but it's a compelling match. So I'm going 3. That's it. That's all. Thank you, everyone. Good night. That's all Dave has to do. All that Dave has to do is come out and slap a rating on the thing and move on. Now he's just delaying the inevitable. Who is he looking to please? Who is Dave looking to please here? People like me who listen to Dave, don't listen to Dave anymore, but who read The Observer, who who follow his tweets and whatnot. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I don't even care that much. It's not making me care that much. I'm like, au contraire, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed because of the discourse that this is creating, where Dave should just be like, okay, here's my terrible rating and deal with it. Because who is he looking to please? He's not looking to please me, because right now I'm annoyed and I don't care ultimately what his rating is. It'll just elicit a thought. Ooh, that's a little high. Ooh, that's a little low. Oh, that's spot on. And that's it. Then I'm ready to move on. But all of the people who are waiting for him, they're not going to be happy. All of the people who are waiting for him, with pitchfork and torches, they're not waiting for Dave. They're coming after Dave, regardless of what he's going to put out. So he's just delaying the inevitable. So there you go. That's all there is to it. Just give the rating and move on. I don't know what makes this so special. Is it because it's a Mercedes Moné match and we have this perception that Dave doesn't like Mercedes? Hey, there's a lot of fucking people who don't like Mercedes for very irrational reasons, okay? And I'm not saying Dave doesn't like her, but there's a lot of people who are a lot more detrimental to Mercedes and a lot weirder than Dave just, not giving her a 5-star match. Or whatever. I don't even know what the gripe is specifically. And it doesn't bother me. But here's the thing, is that all of these people who complain about Dave's ratings, right? These are all people who will turn around and say he's irrelevant, his star ratings don't matter, but it is always the same people who go up to the barricades to complain about the ratings when they don't satisfy them. And when he does get a good rating, a rating that they feel is good, which is 5 stars, because these people have no standards, everything has to be 5 stars or else it's a failure. Then they go, oh, finally Dave makes a good decision, right? That happens very rarely. Anyway, it bothers me to the degree that the discourse is insufferable. People are insufferable in this situation, and Dave has created a level of expectation that he will never be able to achieve. He will never be able to achieve it because even if he thought, regardless what he puts out, he's not going to satisfy his critics. He's not going to satisfy the people who are out to get him in the first place. No matter how high or low the rating is, people are just waiting for Dave Meltzer to put out the rating so that they can shit on him. Just as simple as that. And look, if he was in the arena and he had a good time and he enjoyed it, well, that's your experience. Don't go back and rewatch it. That's your experience. Slap the fucking 2 3/4 stars that you want to put on it and call it a day. Or do like me and spend 25 minutes explaining your thought process into giving a match of 3 stars. There you go. And I think my method's the best. Anyway, DJ Convoy is here. How you doing, buddy? Welcome to the chat, showing up exactly at the right moment. Also happens to be a member of the channel on top of that. And he took a mini vacation this weekend. He said he would watch the stupid match again when he has a chance. A vacation. I mean, can't the guy take some time off and, go flex on a beach somewhere? Doesn't he have a new girlfriend on top of that? Go spend time with your new girlfriend. Go to the beach, right? He lives in Southern California. Where is San Jose? I don't even know where San Jose is. Is San Jose considered Southern California? Look, it doesn't matter. He lives in fucking California. Everything is beautiful, and he's got beautiful weather. He's got a new girlfriend. Go have sex with your girlfriend. Never mind the fucking weirdos online who are waiting near San Francisco. Well, they go see the fucking Golden Gate Bridge. Go jump in the bay. Like, who cares? I don't care. And like, who said this in the chat? Someone said that, the people who are freaking out, it's Convoy. People who said that the people who are freaking out are telling on themselves. Yes, they are. These are all people that are just waiting to hang Dave. Giving that match 5 stars would be wild, though. Absolutely. It is not a good match. I am very comfortable in this assessment. And this does not mean that I hate Mercedes Moné, nor does this mean that I hate Maya World. I gave all of my reasons. I am very hopeful for look, this is a fluke. It is a snafu. It is a convergence of bad luck and ill timing that just created like this fucking perfect storm of shit that was this match. I found the match compelling but unsound due to how they had to carry it out. 37 thumbs up. Compelling is exactly the word I used. That is exactly the word. He refuses to give Mercedes her flowers and her 5-star match like she's Perk Angle. Hey, do we care? This is the main thing. Do we care that Dave Meltzer gives Mercedes a 5-star match or not? Does it misshape anything that she's done in her career. I will sit here and gladly tell you without and Dave himself will even say it, that she's probably the greatest North American women's wrestler of all time. Who cares about the 5 stars? Like, legitimately. You think she's going to want to get that laminated? She's going to buy do you think she's going to buy the paper version of The Observer and have it mailed to her home? And have Beast Mortos like take it to the laminates, you know, to the Kinko's to get it laminated? Can you still do that at Kinko's? Are there still Kinko's around? And get it laminated and put it on her wall? You know, the little entry, the blurb, the page on which Dave gives the rating, and then it's highlighted. You think that's what she's gonna do? No, she doesn't care. Yuto Ice hasn't had a 5 and is the best wrestler in the world, so Mercedes is in good company now. Wait a minute. Let's pump the brakes here. I didn't know the best wrestler in the world could get gassed so quickly. Hey-o. Hey, Silver Apocalypse, nice to see you, and welcome to the chat. It's very nice to see you. Travis, nice to see you, AW1. In Dave's defense, I always consider the televised match as the official version of that match. It's the perspective most fans see it from and the portrayal the company is most concerned with. Look, I do have points that I want to get to tonight. I don't want to spend all the fucking, you know, first hour talking about star ratings and Dave and whatnot, but I understand what you mean, but also I think the live experience can make a difference between, I think a live experience can help elevate a match. How about that? So I think like just TV stuff, more or less, there's a lot of more things that you can contrive because of TV, and WWE has learned that, and look at how far down the hole the product has fallen. Mike McCullough, nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. Also happens to be a member of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show channel. I like the idea that she makes Beast Mortos run all her errands, right? Because she's like, they're going to recognize me in the street. You, they won't. He's like, that's fine. And he goes to the Kinko's, gets it done, and on his way back, pops in at the Starbucks, gets a drink, a refresher, knows exactly her order too. I think Beast Mortos is this kind. I think he's a very attentive partner, a very attentive lover, boyfriend. I think he's the kind of guy, he gives me that vibe where he's the kind of guy where he learns his girl's order and walks into Starbucks and knows exactly, boom, 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 boom. And he comes out and brings it home, you know, and he surprises her with it. You know, she was just expecting him to go to the Kinko's and come back. But he surprises her. He's like, hey, baby, I got you this. And he says, oh, thank you so much, you know. That's the thing. I'm sure. I'm 100% sure that's that's the. I'm pretty sure that's the nature of their relationship. And of course, she 100% sends Beast Mortos out because no one recognizes him because he wears a fucking mask all the time. This is yeah. Kristen Ashley, nice to see you. Welcome, darling. Also, a member of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show channel. I'm always being called out by Kristen Ashley. What are we talking about? Like, this is nothing new. All right. Okay. Enough's enough. Enough Dave talk. Dave dug his own hole. Dave should have handled this. Just should have just ripped the Band-Aid off and put the fucking thing in, and it's nonsense. There we go. This is what I wanted to start with today. You know how sometimes I like to just start off with something a little fun, some funsies, okay? Just a little something to make us giggle a little bit. Here's a little something that I hope will make us giggle. This is from the Kevin Nash podcast, the Kevin Nash Click This podcast. The setup essentially here in this segment that we're going to listen to is the host. Well, they're talking about Sami Zayn winning the world championship, the undisputed championship. Is it the undisputed? It's the undisputed one he won, right? Because he beat Cody. So they're talking about him winning the undisputed championship, which is also very disputed at the Saudi Arabia show, and well, look, you'll see where it leads to. Okay, I don't know if you've heard this clip. I don't know if you've seen it, but very interesting.
You know, the last time Sami Zayn was.
This is his host. I don't know what his host's name is. Well, I know it, but I can't remember. I just can't remember.
And significantly in the wrestling news. And I hate that my mind goes here. Someone might call me a cynic or
So, look, a cynic for what, do you think?
Or worse.
Can't be any worse than what Dave Meltzer's being called.
Was in regards to the pay reductions. Right? I don't know why his name landed more significantly than others, but his was one that was publicly reported.
We're talking about Sami Zayn here, to clarify again. Chat, do you remember any reports of Sami Zayn being a guy who took a pay cut for WWE, from WWE/TKO? You remember not that long ago, maybe a month and a half ago, 2 months tops, there was a lot of talk going around that, a big star in WWE took a pay cut, right? And everyone was speculating, everyone was running, and everyone had kind of settled on Roman, but it turns out it wasn't Roman. And then we had the news for CM Punk, and, CM Punk is not sticking around and whatnot. Like, I had heard a name. And I even thought it was out there, but I made a little Google search before starting the stream tonight just to make sure that I get my facts right. And it turns out that name was not even announced publicly, but I had heard in the backroom talkings that this particular individual was the person everyone was talking about that took the pay cut. So anyway, so it wasn't him, but chat, Sami Zayn was never brought up by anyone. No one brought up Sami Zayn. No one, because the host here does use the word reported on. No one reported on Sami Zayn taking a pay cut. No one talked about that.
And a significant reduction of a nice salary. Am I wrong to connect any dots?
So basically what he's saying is that, hey, Kev, it's kind of weird that Sami Zayn was asked to take a pay cut, and then they give him the WWE Championship. Do you think this is just like a kind of a make-do, something to smooth it out? Because it was reported that he took a pay cut. This is what's happening right now. Wonder what Kevin Nash has to say about this. What Big Sexy, what his thoughts are about this.
Because they kind of made him when I say they, I mean the wrestling media, not WWE.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that he was reduced.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I can't connect any dots because I don't have...
We didn't cover that here?
We didn't talk about this here? Wait, this wasn't the time we didn't talk about it here? Did you hear that in his voice? A little bit of sudden panic setting in. It's like, wait a second, in here.
Thought we talked.
Oh,
about
I'd heard.
right.
He heard. Kevin Nash heard.
I mean, I'd heard that he was.
It was reported. Let's say that.
Yeah, it was reported, but
But it wasn't reported. That's the thing. I swear to God, folks, I checked as much as possible. This was not reported. Kevin Nash going, I heard. Yeah, we heard. But it was reported. No, it was not. No one reported that Sami Zayn was the guy to take the pay cut.
unless I see a contract where it's.
Nah.
Yeah.
We don't.
Awkward silence. Awkward silence. We don't know what to say anymore.
We don't know for sure.
Now it's we don't know for sure. You want to bet there's like some producer in the background sending text messages. They're like in the fucking WhatsApp group and going, "What the fuck are you guys talking about? This was never reported." And you got the guy's like he's on his phone. He's going, "Oh, I thought this was
Bill Maher.
Why? The last time.
Is this Bill Maher? This is why because Bill Maher sort of blurts shit out. Yeah, this is fucking embarrassing. You know what this is? This is legitimately what this is. It's Kevin Nash and I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of this. And it's not a bad faith thing. I legitimately cannot remember the name of his host here. It's these two guys who sit around, and they chat, off the record. They're talking about, hey, Big Kev, did you hear about who took the pay cut? Oh, I spoke with HBK, and apparently it's Sammy. That's what he told me, but I don't know, man. Like they're bullshitting behind the scenes, which everyone does. Don't get me wrong, right? Just what'd you hear, right? But they probably talked about it quite a bit to the point where they're like, oh, we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about this on air because we've probably talked about it on air because we've talked about it so much. Probably like they've probably talked about it so much, a ton amongst themselves that they don't even know what they talked about, on screen anymore. So that might actually be true. That might actually be the guy who took the pay cut. And the logic is infallible, right? Where Sean Oliver, thank you, chat, you guys rule. Now it makes this whole Sammy victory seem exactly like a smoothing over type of thing. Where it's like, look, you're gonna have to take a pay cut, but you know what? We'll make you WWE World Champion. We'll make you undisputed champion. How about that, Sammy? Wouldn't you like that? You get your nice moment and in the kingdom of Saudi Arabia with your people. I know these are TKO people speaking, okay? With your people. It'll be such a nice moment. Like it makes it very plausible now. Now that they've connected these dots unwillingly, where Sean Oliver is like, yeah, because it's been reported, but Kevin Nash is like, I don't think it has been, Sean. And boy, do they change. Oh, well, we're not sure. It goes from, oh, no, it's been reported to, well, we're not quite sure anymore. Sean Oliver's probably there Googling. He's not seeing Sami Zayn's name anywhere. And it's like, oh, shit. So it adds a lot of credence because they're probably talking about it. Kevin Nash himself said, Yeah, I heard that it might be him, but it's never been reported type of thing. But I've heard, so they've talked about it. And like there's so much fucking information where it's just like this kind of stuff is meant to slip by. It's meant to there's stuff like this that will fall through the cracks and will end up like Dave Meltzer. It's happened to him on a couple of occasions in the past where he's just talking about stuff and then he realizes, ooh, wait a second, this was told to me and spoken to me in confidence and I just blurted this thing out. It's anyway. So I am not saying that this is absolutely Sami Zayn who got the pay cut, but this certainly does add some credence to it. And regardless, it's a very funny clip of two guys who are like, well, it's been reported. No, it hasn't been reported. I've heard that it might be Sami, but I don't think it's been reported. Lots of collar tugging going on right now. Oh, what a maroon. Anyway, that was a fun. That's how we wanted to start the show today. Not talking about Dave Meltzer star ratings. It's fine. Look, if I didn't want to talk about Dave and his star ratings, I wouldn't have said a thing. Correct? Right. That's right. Hey, Silver Apocalypse, aka Silver Star Simtar, has become a member of the channel once again. Pleasure to have you back, pal. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it a great deal. For Sean Oliver, formerly of Kayfabe Commentaries, which was a great company until podcasts killed it, and now he's just a Nash lackey. Oh well. I'm not certain Nash could pick Sami out of a fucking lineup. Well, Sami has a look, right? For me, this whole Sami Zayn stuff, him winning the title and whatnot, it is wild to me to think that 15 years ago, maybe a little more, 15 years-ish, El Generico was one of the best fucking pro wrestlers on planet Earth. Like legitimately one of the 10 best professional wrestlers on Earth. And now he's taking pay cuts and getting honorary WWE titles, and we'll see how long this reign is going to last. Anyway. Also, Nash tore a hamstring in the making of this podcast. I don't mean to disparage Sami, and Nash doesn't follow the product. Oh, like any good old-timer wrestling podcast guy does. None of them watch the product. Hell, even when Eric Bischoff was hired to do stuff in MLW, he wasn't watching the product. I'm gonna add a little more light here. A little darker. Haha. Yeah. Not gonna have the contrast crush us all to fuck. All right. So there you go. So that was
Sami
we don't
Zayn
have to listen to. No. Shh. So the big news outside of Dave refusing to give 5 stars to a Mercedes Moné match again. Okay, I gotta stop. I just think it's really funny. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. I promise I'm stopping. I promise. So the big news to come out of this, the start of this week, happened yesterday on Sunday. On Sunday, the 5th of July, Sheamus apparently is done with WWE. Fightful Select had a report come out. We're going to read the article off of the Figure 4 Online here. Wrestling Observer. Fightful Select reported on Sunday that the 48-year-old recently turned down a contract extension to remain with the company and will be leaving when his current deal expires. It is not clear exactly when Sheamus's deal is up, but Fightful reads that they have been told his contract expires soon. The report also notes that WWE had previously approached Sheamus about taking a restructured deal, which he is said to have swiftly rejected. Sheamus first signed with WWE in late 2006. During this time with the company, he has been a 3-time WWE champion, 1-time World Heavyweight Champion, 3-time United States Champion, and 5-time Tag Team Champion. Sheamus also won King of the Ring in 2010, the Royal Rumble in 2012. God, those were the dark days, weren't they? And Money in the Bank in 2015. That is such wild booking when you look at it this way. King of the Ring in 2010, Royal Rumble in 12, Money in the Bank in 15. That's crazy booking. He was voted most improved in the 2010 Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards. That's all there is to add right now. Outside of people pointing out, oh, he's never won the Intercontinental Championship. Well, this is something. This continues, doesn't it, folks? This continues. I guess, yes. On one part, I don't want to. It's not exactly a culling. I wanted to use that, but that's not exactly right. This continues a trend. How about that? At the very least, a trend that that TKO has no loyalty to anyone except your paycheck and how much money you're bringing in and how much we should pay you consequentially, right? That's essentially it. This guy here, Sheamus, worked 22 decades for this company, right? In multiple ways. Multiple fashions, it was also used in multiple fashions, and they basically told him, yeah, thank you for all your years of service. Please enjoy this contract reduction. Please enjoy this pay cut, just like they did with the New Day as well, right? And I can understand, like, at some point you have acts where, you're not quite sure what to do with them. You're trying your best. You're trying to find the best possible fit for them. And you can't quite find what you need. You can't quite find the avenue to get them over enough so that they become an attraction, something, dare we say a draw, it's, it is what it is, right? But, I feel like there's two Sheamuses. Sheamus-I? When there's multiple Sheamuses, are they called Sheamus-I? The first Sheamus is the one we were talking about just not that long ago, where, winning the WWE World Championship and the Royal Rumble, and everyone's like, and people are not rejecting him outright, but they don't think this is a good idea. They don't think that Sheamus, as a top guy in the company, is working, and they're, like I said, maybe not outright rejecting him, but they're not enjoying it. Let's put it that way. And yet Vince tried to make it happen, and that was a very odd period for Sheamus, one where he just constantly seems to be looking for the thing for his footing, right? Instead of just being, while he's being like the smiling babyface Irish champion, leaning very, very much hard into the Irish heritage, right? And then he has the thing with Cesaro, right? With Claudio, the best of 7 series, right? And you're like, wait a second, this guy kind of kicks ass. If you just leave him go and be a dude who wants to fight dudes, he's kind of fun. And that really reignited the Sheamus's career in WWE. The best of 7 series that he had with Cesaro/Claudio that led to the formation of the Bar was legitimately something interesting that was going on and that I was very much into because it was so fucking different, because it was so no nonsense. Just these two dudes coming over to beat the shit out of people. And then, the next thing that they do with him is, well, it's Vince McMahon, so, falls into the Irish pub brawler parody, right? With the little hat and the suspenders and the shirt, the Brawling Brutes and all that. But even before the Brawling Brutes, when he was, Fight Night Sheamus, right? Like, that gimmick ruled. That was really, really good. And he'd come in, just beat the piss out of people and go home. And that was really good. Now, is this a guy that ever drew for the company? I would argue probably not. I don't think anyone considers Sheamus to be a draw on any level. But was he a very fun wrestler to watch at times? Yes. And he was often some of the best parts of WWE, where he'd just come in swinging and beat the piss out of people. And he was one of 2 guys who do it, depending on the era, right? It was either Claudio or it was either Drew McIntyre, I personally, I thought those were great. Of course, he's banged up. A little more, he's banged up, he's injured, Doesn't he have spinal stenosis too? Doesn't he? I think he does. But I think like these late stage versions of Sheamus were very much appreciated from the audience. And like I was saying just a few moments ago, sometimes you have a little trouble finding a spot for certain people on your roster. You're not quite sure how to go about it, right? I don't know why anyone would overthink using Sheamus on TV. It's like, hey, go out there, swing some lariats, beat the piss out of some people. And that's what you do here for this company. You're the ass kicker. That's what you do. Right? No one else. Who is the ass kicker on the roster? Well, now would we say maybe Jacob Fatu? Would that be the maybe? Anyway, my point still stands regardless. Like that could be. I find he's a very, very simple guy to book. So if he decides that he's had enough with WWE, that they're doing jack shit with him, and then on top of that, they want to dock his pay, and he's like, nah, fuck you. Gotta respect it. I respect it. I respect it quite a bit. I think I think it's very interesting. Of course, everyone's going around saying, "Hey, AEW, come on in, Sheamus." And I think overall, I feel like AEW fans are kind of into it because Sheamus is well liked. I think overall, I think wrestling fans have a positive perception of Sheamus. So I think AEW fans don't come off as very resistant as opposed to, other guys who might get released where they're like, nah. You know what? I'm not hearing too many, but not, anything but more fed guys. I'm not hearing those people, right? I like Sheamus. And, you know, I legitimately struggle to find a spot for him in AEW, right? Despite the fact that, you know, MJF was straight out there on Sunday, you know, on his Instagram posting about, you know, come on over or Shaughnessy or whatever, right? Something to that effect. Come, like, you know, I think there's a lot of people who would welcome him, and I don't think that's necessarily a problem. Here's my thought, right? And I see in the chat, you know, it's like, you know, we've all got the same types of matches in mind. You know, Sheamus and the Brawlers, right? With the Samoa Joes and the Mark Davises and the Jake Doyles. Those are the kind of matches where you're like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? But I'm going to bring back my AJ Styles argument, my AJ Styles and AEW argument from a few months ago. Do you remember that one? Where I was like, hey, I know that contracts in pro wrestling are supposed to be these long-winded affairs over years, okay? I understand that. But why not just bring him in for a year? Just have him come in for 1 year, program him very, very deliberately. You know the date that he's leaving, so you book towards that. You get everything set up in the meantime. You have all your story beats set up. You have all the matches set. And you just go through that. And then the contract comes up and thank you. Well, don't kiss the guy. Shake his hand. Sheamus, you were great. Thank you so much. And you know what? We'll call you again because this was such a great experience type of thing. We'll bring you in on a later date. That's what I do. Shorter contracts, clear defined stories, reasons to bring them in. Because folks, Tony's not building anything off the back of Sheamus in 2026. You're not building anything. You're not building a mid-card off of him. The mid-card's doing fine. The mid-card in AEW is legitimately it's the greenhouse where we're potting and growing the new stars of the company. You know, I struggle to find the role for him in 2026 AEW. And this is me as a guy who enjoys the work of Sheamus overall. And the other thing, and you know, the thing that we don't know, the intangible, is, well, what kind of dude is he? What kind of attitude does he have? You know, because this is a guy who I'm convinced that over the past few years has not felt like he's been used to the utmost of his ability, probably feels like he was underpushed. If he goes to AEW and he's being told, hey, you're going to lose to our Mark Davis guy, or you're going to lose to our Darby Allin, you know, it's going to be like, fuck no. I didn't come here to lose. I'm not coming here to lose matches. I'm coming here to win. So do we end up with a guy who will, you know, cooperate and be a part of the roster, a productive member of the roster, or is he going to be another Malachi Black? Is he going to be another Miro? And I think that's a plausible question to ask. I think it's something plausible to wonder. I mean, if I were him, that's kind of my idea, right? I'm like, it's kind of what I think. I'm like, hey, you know what? I was mistreated for all these years. I really, really don't want to come here and start losing matches. And then poison the locker room. A locker room, which, from everything that I understand, the AEW locker room is in a very good spot right now. Of course, the company is doing well. The specter of CM Punk is long gone. The main event scene is being supported by all of the top guys who are all very, very much in agreement with everything that's going on. The mid card is fresh and lively. The young guys feel that they have spots and whatnot. It's a very good vibe right now backstage. You want to bring in a guy to come in and, throw some wrenches in there? And look, I'm just saying, I'm not saying he's a dark cloud. I'm just saying you do run that risk. And it's like, then I think about, well, where else does he go? Where else does a guy like Sheamus go? TNA is absolutely beneath him. MLW is absolutely beneath him. These are not great landing spots for him. He's a bigger star than that. He's got a lot more value than that. I'm like, this might be it. If it's not AEW, where else would it be? Or does he even want to wrestle anymore after this? Maybe he wants to focus on his training courses, which would be fine. I would assume he'd still want to wrestle. I would assume a guy like Sheamus is like, I'm not done. I still got more in the tank. Probably wants to get out there and prove those TKO bastards wrong, right? It's a mixed bag for me. Ultimately, it's the kind of situation where I'd be like, look, if Tony does want to bring him in, I will be at the very least curious to see what happens. I will be very, very curious to see what happens. They'll do the thing in the middle of the ring where he's going to walk up to, with Cesaro, Claudio, and the crowd is going to go, the crowd's going to go crazy, and then they're going to do the thumb thing, and then people are going to go, and then, Cesaro is going to take his head off. Why am I calling him Cesaro? I know why. That's absolutely something that can happen, right? Then what do you do? Like, you don't bring him in to bring back the bar. You don't do that. Don't, if you want to do a little program with Claudio Castagnoli, I'm fine with that. But let's go for some new matches. Let's just, I don't know. I feel like there's much more interesting people out there. I feel like there's already more interesting people on Tony's roster that he underuses, that he could be pushing a lot more. But then again, I can't even tell you that I wouldn't be interested to see what 2026 Sheamus would do in an AEW ring. I can't tell you that I wouldn't be interested. I'd be extremely curious. It's a mixed bag for me. In Japan, here's the thing. In New Japan, in 2026 New Japan, there is no room for a guy like Sheamus. Like, we think that we still have the visions of strong style New Japan and of, the mid 2000s and whatnot, 2010s, I should say. But it's not, New Japan is not that anymore. It's not that. For fuck's sake, they're phasing out Tai Chi. Okay, that should tell you where we're going with New Japan. There is no other Tai Chi on this roster. They barely use Tomohiro Ishii anymore. Ishii spends more time in the U.S. than he does in his home promotion, if he's even still employed. To be frank, like they're like the New Japan that would welcome a guy like Sheamus, and in which Sheamus would have these debilitatingly awesome slugfests. It's not there anymore. It is another company. It's not those guys. Sheamus doesn't fit in what they're trying to do in New Japan in 2026. I don't even think why would he want to do that anyway, right? Maybe he doesn't even want to do that. You got to want to go to Japan first and foremost, right? Anyway, final thought. I think this I mentioned it earlier, but it continues to show that TKO, or WWE TKO, has no longer any interest in anyone long term who has history, who helped build up the place. They don't give a shit. What they want to do is train. They want to train and create media ready personalities. That's what they want to do first and foremost. And Sheamus, older, doesn't exactly have a very, TikTokable face, or whatnot in his presentations and whatnot. Doesn't quite fit the mold. They don't see any value in him. They will see value in people like Tiffany Stratton, like Sol Ruka, like Saquon Sugars, like Dom Mysterio, like Liv, because they correspond to the media pool that they want these people to swim in. That's what they're looking for. I think Sheamus just fell out of favor. And he just, just by being who he is, he's just like, he doesn't represent what the company wants anymore. And we're going to see more and more of that. We're going to see more and more people that we thought would be lifers with this company, because who did not think that Sheamus wasn't going to be a WWE lifer? And if you're raising your hand right now, you're a liar. But I think this concept of lifers for WWE is truly going to be reduced to a very small circle of people. Very, very small. A guy like Roman Reigns. Cody probably has it now. Very, very, very tiny circle of people that will be considered lifers for this company. If they made money, if they are big, big fucking stars. TKO has erased the forever in then, now, forever. That is correct. What a great way to wrap it up. The real question with Sheamus is how washed he is and how motivated he is. Those are both very fair questions. See, that's the thing. Sheamus is going to work Collision and the balance to the world will be restored. I mean, what if we get a best of 7 between Sheamus and Jake Doyle, and it's all exclusively on Collision? Doesn't that fucking rock? Isn't that just like that actually does rock? If Sheamus is good for it and all, of course, right? Old school heel Sheamus in the Riders reunited with Claudio and beating people up. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't care about the reuniting. I'd much prefer they just try new things and beat people up. Yeah, because that's one of my complaints, right? When it comes to creative and stuff. We might even have time to talk about it tonight. But it's always the same people who are in charge of creative. It's always the same fucking people in charge of creative all the time for years and decades, and well, for a couple of decades now. It's always been the same people. We could try other things. That's what I always say. Well, we could try other things with Sheamus. We don't have to fall to the old standards. It's like Adam Cole didn't need to do the Undisputed Era again with Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. We really didn't need to do that. Why are we doing it? You've got writers, you've got creative people. You keep talking about, well, go for it. Like, try stuff out. Be creative. It's one thing to say that you are creative, but you got to be creative. Pedro the Fifth, nice to see you and welcome. Sheamus versus Shingo. Oof. Frankly, Shingo would run circles around him, but it would be awesome. If you bring in Sheamus, you won't get to see Mark Davis. People have to go if you bring in a new face like this. The only guy in AEW I'd rather see the only guy in AEW I'd rather see Sheamus than would be like Edge or something. Oh, so you'd prefer to see Sheamus? I'm sorry, my brain is fritzed. You'd prefer to see Sheamus than Edge. I agree. But Edge is getting the airtime regardless. Adam Copeland. I agree. There's always he comes in, he takes a spot. He comes in, he takes a spot. Whose spot does he take? Whose spot that is currently on television, that is currently featured on television, are you willing to sacrifice for Sheamus to come in? Blackheart Leo Rush in my case. I'd be completely fine with that. But they won't be bumping Leo Rush for Sheamus. They'll be bumping one of the brutes, either Davis or Doyle. Cope for Sheamus would be a good trade. That would be an excellent trade. Yeah, and I see. Yeah, 5 years ago, maybe you would have got something good out of Sheamus. I agree. This is like 5 years too late. I agree. I agree. People that have been willing to walk from the Fed usually been net positive hires. By no means necessary, but if TK hires him and either gets a few good matches out of him or sends him home, or he goes straight to Guantanamo, which doesn't bother me. It's TK's money. When you say people willing to walk from the Fed, we're talking recent, right? Because there's a litany of people that it did not work out. There's a litany of people that did not work out. I've named a couple. If we're talking about recent hires like, well, Tommaso Ciampa is now the poster boy for that, then yes. But not everyone is going to be a Tommaso Ciampa either. The bar is older than AEW. Jack Perry, you'd keep Jack Perry and Hook off. Jack Perry is always getting TV time. TK loves the guy. Wheeler Yuta. What has Wheeler Yuta done to you? The hell? What he does is eat pins all the time. Sheesh. Sheesh. Moving on. We got an update in regards to AEW and New Japan's Forbidden Door. Well, let's just call it AEW Forbidden Door. Got an update on how it's performed on pay-per-view. I'll read this article off the Figure 4 Online Wrestling Observer website. In the July 6, 2026 edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer wrote that he does not currently have an estimate for pay-per-view buys, but the numbers he has seen indicate that Forbidden Door is trending to be AEW's lowest performing pay-per-view of 2026 so far. Meltzer wrote the following: I don't have a pay-per-view estimate past some numbers that we have indicate. Hang on, what? Sorry. Sometimes I trip up over Dave's grammar. I don't have a pay-per-view estimate past some numbers that we have indicate the lowest of 2026, but this has also been a great year. The key distributor these days is HBO Max, and we were told the numbers were comparable there to Dynasty, which did around 145,000 buys, so this would likely be a little bit lower since other distributors were down. Meltzer also wrote that a potential reason for the show trending below other AEW pay-per-views this year was the lack of an AEW World Championship match. AEW World Champion MJF was involved in the 12-person steel cage match on the show, leading a team of Don Callis family members against the team led by Mark Briscoe. Meltzer said the following: as far as a reason, my gut is the lack of an AEW World title match is the main culprit, as MJF would have meant more in a singles match than in a 12-man match to build up a title match. MJF later defeated Briscoe in a title match to open the July 1st episode of AEW Dynamite. Meltzer also noted that the pay-per-view was up against NXT Great American Bash and a Sunday night baseball game between the New York Yankees and Boston Red Sox. However, it was not up against a primetime World Cup game. I am sure right now that people in Stamford are clapping their hands. They're high-fiving each other. They're saying, we did it, guys. We did it. We were able to fuck with their pay-per-view buys. We were able to fuck with it. Unquestionably. And look, am I ready to completely dismiss it as a reason? No. No. Because the Great American Bash ratings were dismal. They were not good. I would only assume that, the 300,000 or so, 360,000 people or whatever the fuck the number was, I don't quite remember. That's your core NXT base of absolute drooling morons who actually enjoy the show, right? That's your crew there. Because, yeah, and we know because the demo, the 18 to 49, was also trashed. So I would assume that maybe the opposite happened and that the people that WWE was maybe hoping would turn away from Forbidden Door decided to watch it instead of the free pay-per-view on the CW, right? Pay-per-view. We can't even call it a pay-per-view. There's nothing premium about it either. It's just a live event. It's just a network special. Just a humdrum, run-of-the-mill network special. Just like they do with the Love Boat back in the day. They'd have like an occasional a Love Boat network special, where it'd be like 2 hours and have like, Burt Reynolds on it. That would be a network special. I can't outright dismiss it. You just can't. And don't forget, like earlier in the day, there was the wasn't there a AAA show? No, what was on earlier in the day? Or am I confused? Wasn't there a AAA show earlier on in the day? It was Slammiversary. No one fucking watches TNA, right? No one fucking watches TNA. So, it's like, I'm just saying, bear with me here for argument's sake. Let's say TNA does their show and, they get a few more people in there. Whatever. My point is that not everyone is like me or maybe even like you, where it's like, yeah, I'll sit down and watch 2 or 3 wrestling shows in a day. I don't care because I really love this shit. There's a lot of people who are just like, yeah, no, if I watch one wrestling show, that's it. I'm not watching anything else. So maybe it did chip away. We're just throwing this out for argument's sake. I'm not even convinced myself that TNA Slammiversary made any kind of dent into the Forbidden Door. I'm not even convinced that the NXT show did any kind of dent in the Forbidden Door. I think the build to Forbidden Door made a dent in the Forbidden Door. I think that's what it is. Because, yeah, I agree. I think the prospect of a 12-man, multi-man, main event style, match, I don't think it turned anyone on. I don't think everyone was like, woo, this is going to be so exciting. I don't think it was all that interesting to begin with. And yeah, I legitimately think, I'm in agreement with Dave. I think no MJF in the main event in a singles match hurt the buy rate. I think that's what ended up hurting it more than anything else. I think, as opposed to Forbidden Doors in the past, which drew tremendous numbers, I think, the New Japan Stardom matches that were featured, are not with people who are big enough draws in America, or draws, or stars even, to be considered as something, something interesting, something to captivate the attention and go, I absolutely have to see Pac versus Shota Umino. Most people are like, oh, all right, Shota Umino. He is the guy who used to hang out with Mox, right? He showed up that one time on that one Forbidden Door show. It's just, I think there's a lot of factors here. I think there's the build that wasn't all that great to the show, outside of everything happening with Will, I thought the women's build got really interesting with the Maya World stuff. I thought Tekla had a terrific build. Outside of that, everything's kind of like... I don't think the Death Door match was all that... I don't think it was all that sought after. I don't think anyone was actually like champing at the bit to watch this match, to get excited for it. I don't know. It didn't perform as well, but I'm hard pressed to blame it on NXT and TNA Slammiversary. I can't outright dismiss it just because, I don't have the data in front of me. But my gut says, Warren, what the fuck are you doing? these things had zero incidents. Zero incidents. There was nothing going on. I think it's just subject to a build that people didn't feel compelled. And look, if one of your big matches on the show, which is Will Ospreay versus Swerve, right? If one of your big matches on the show is abundantly clear who's going to win, doesn't that factor in as well? You know? Doesn't that factor in as well? Like, you're like, no one looking at this card on paper was like, gee, Willikers, I wonder if Will Ospreay is going to fall to Swerve Strickland. No one was saying that. No one. So, you know, maybe that also takes away some of the oomph, you know? Maybe they should have done Kenny Omega and MJF on the card and add some, you know. Could you imagine then? That would have been through the roof. Anyway, the point I'm making, if we wrap it up and move on to another thing, I don't think NXT or Slammiversary had any real incidents on hurting the Forbidden Door, because at the very least for NXT, the ratings were shit. If the rating was better, if the rating was like a Tuesday night, we'd have another discussion. Here, it was garbage show. It had nothing at all. I don't think it had I don't think it had any incidents. That's what my gut is telling me anyway. I think MJF not being in a world championship match, a one-on-one world championship match, did end up hurting. And I think overall the Forbidden Door build wasn't perceived as compelling as previous years by the pay-per-view purchasing crowd, the AEW pay-per-view purchasing audience. I was trying to look for another alliteration. But like Dave said, and we have to remember this has been a very good year for pay-per-view buys for AEW. So even if it's doing less, what they said, 145,000 on Max, Jesus Christ, they have done worse buys than that over the years. If this is like the low bar, 145K for the year, I think it's a pretty good year. Adam Burke, official. All right, we're not, no impersonators here. We got the official Adam Burke here. Nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. Forbidden Door was a good show, but it really wasn't Forbidden Door. It was largely an AEW show featuring talent from their promotional partners. It's like I said on the review. I'm not necessarily going to reiterate everything, but because everyone can go listen to the review, of course. Forbidden Door on the Mr. Warren Hayes Show YouTube channel. Like I said, I think this was more of a Forbidden Door show this year than it was last year. Last year was practically all AEW people, just AEW stuff. It was a lot more. There's things on the show that felt a lot more like a Forbidden Door, but were a far cry from the original couple of Forbidden Doors that we had. And again, the main reason, because there are no stars in New Japan Pro Wrestling anymore. And Zack Sabre Jr. is going to be an AEW roster member sooner than later. So, that's the situation that we're living in right now. That's the whole 9 yards. Just as simple as that. Thank you for your subscription. Appreciate that. Mr. Antox, it's nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. I don't remember the world title match main eventing last year as well. Last year was the cage match where they killed Will Ospreay. That was the main event. I know someone who skipped this pay-per-view because they told me They know how all the matches will end, and they can just watch Dynamite. I mean, you know, like they tell us wins and losses don't matter. And they absolutely fucking do. And at some point you do have to have that mystery. Look, why are people so excited for this Wednesday's Dynamite? You know, MJF versus Kenny Omega. Why are they so excited about it? Because we've got that aura of unpredictability that exists around the Cody stip that's being added onto the match. Because they haven't reneged on the Cody stip. All the people who have lost have the Cody stip match, like, are out of commission. They have, never challenged for the world championship again. So there's that threat looming over Kenny Omega, and they could do it because they've done it in the past twice to two top guys. So you're like, you know what? They could do it to Kenny. It would make sense for them to not do it. But this year, for the world championship in AEW, has been so unpredictable and in a good way. Dynamic, lots of people coming in from all sides challenging for the world title. It has been an exciting, unpredictable world title main event picture that I can't put it past them to have MJF beat Kenny, and Kenny's fucked as far as the world championship goes. I can't put it past them. And in a good way. I'm not saying this with my hands on my hips going, they better not do this. No, like, it's interesting. It's compelling. And that's why there's an aura of excitement around this match. Because they're like, we don't know what's going to happen, because all throughout this year, we were surprised with the people who became number one contenders, right? Andrade became the number one contender for the world championship, but had to go through, or at least, no, he didn't become, but he almost did. He lost to Hangman, excuse me, but he almost did. And he beat Kenny and he beat Swerve, like the top guys in the company. And everyone was like, no, Andrade is not going to go for it. But he did. He went to the final match between him and Hangman to determine the number one contender. Darby getting a run with the belt took everyone by surprise. It's been that kind of year. The world championship is meaningful and is compelling and it's dynamic and it's unpredictable. So I agree with your friend's point, big man, that, at some point, just knowing that the match is going to be awesome, which is what Swerve and Will Ospreay was, you knew they were going to have an absolute crazy match, which they did. But sometimes that's just not enough. Sometimes you just need like that level of, I really don't know what's going to happen. And I think there was a lot of that was missing from the card, because yes, you could easily pick out all the winners as you went along. I don't even think it's no world title. It's just that Forbidden Door is AEW's lowest anticipated annual pay-per-view in 2026. So far. So far. I mean, sure. I don't think the build was... I thought the build was fine. I thought the build was fine. I enjoyed it. I thought they did a good job this year as opposed to last year. Clearly not good enough. Yeah, exactly. Where Wrestle Dream enters the chat. Wins and losses do matter, hence why there was there were rankings for a period of time, and Cody is overplayed, but it suits the Cody stip is overplayed, but it suits MJF's old scumbag villain shtick. I don't think it's overplayed. I think we've reached the limit. I think if MJF does it again by the end of the year, if he regains the title, then it'll be overplayed. But I think this is like the right amount of. I think this is just the right amount. Plus, all people from the elite, all guys from the elite who lost it. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. What time is it? ESPN. All right, why don't we? Okay, we'll do this. We'll keep the order. This will be a quick little news hit here. Earlier today in Japan, we got the final 2 participants entered into the New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax 36 tournament. It is now fully set with Ryohei Oiwa and Oscar becoming the final 2 wrestlers to qualify. This is an article reading, of course, off of the Figure 4 Online Wrestling Observer. Oiwa defeated El Fantasmo at a Road to G1 event on Monday, today, to earn the final spot in the A block. The show also saw Oscar defeat Yujiro Takahashi to qualify as the last B block competitor. Interference by the House of Torture threatened to cost Oscar the match, but Yuto Ice made sure his tag team partner was able to overcome that and qualify. So both Knockout Brothers will be competing in the G1, but are in different blocks. There will be the first G1 appearance for Oscar and the second for Oiwa. Chicago hosts the opening night of the G1 this Saturday, July 11th. And after a week off, the round robin tournament resumes in Japan on July 18 and runs through August 16. The winner, if it's not current champion Yota Tsuji, earns a shot at the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. And there you go. So the field is completely set. We know exactly where we're going. We're locking everything in for the month. It's the tournament. It's the biggest tournament of the summer. Very excited for it. Look, there was no doubt in my mind that Ryohei Oiwa was going to be added. I am still extremely bullish on Oiwa. New Japan has their sights set on Tsuji. Like, clearly he's the first guy to really be anointed as a guy from that crop of dudes. Shota, like, they tried first with Shota Umino, but the crowd rejected him. But I think whatever they're doing with Umino right now is working, and I'm gonna have a bold prediction coming at you this Thursday when we preview the entire G4, G4, G1. What the fuck, G4. So when we're going to be previewing the G1 this Thursday, we'll be we'll be talking about all these scenarios and whatnot. So, but they've been doing a better job, I find, with Umino. Yumera is also a guy that sort of goes back and forth. You're never quite sure exactly how far they want to go with him. But Oiwa's the dude. Ryohei Oiwa, to me, is still the more capable, interesting, charismatic, explosive, well-rounded wrestler of the bunch. This is a guy who understands how to create a crowd connection. That's something that Shota Umino doesn't. He's a better wrestler than Yota Tsuji. I am so incredibly bullish on him. I am not giving up on Ryohei Oiwa. So I was sure he was going to be joining in. And I guess Oscar made sense. That was the thing that everyone was sort of, yeah, of course he's going to qualify. But there was something, just a little something in me. Just a little itty bitty bitty part of me that was like, you want to bet Yujiro gets in? You want to bet Yujiro makes it and we get the Tokyo Pimps in the tournament? And I would not have been surprised. Because, let's be honest with each other here. We already know who the Marty Jannetty is in the Knockout Brothers. You know what I'm saying? We already know who the star is and who's the dead weight here. We already figured out. So we'll see. Look, I was kind of thinking, maybe Oscar is, he's going to be knocked out playing round, and but no, he was able to qualify, and it is what it is. I don't think Oscar is all that good. I don't think Oscar is all that great. I don't know. Yeah, he, I get big Hikuleo vibes from him. I know that's mean. I think he moves better than Hikuleo. Like, I think he's better overall than Hikuleo. Okay? Let's be very clear. I think he's a better wrestler than Hikuleo. But, I'm not, this ain't no Stan Hansen here. Let me tell you what. But have you considered he's really tall? Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, so the blocks are set. I think this might be a good time to remind you that I will be then returning to do some daily coverage for the G1 Climax 36 this year. Didn't do it last year, but I'll be back this year to do it starting this Saturday. Daily coverage right here on the YouTube channel and on your favorite podcast application. Every day, I will cover the G1, talk about the matches, stats, where, paths, predictions, where things are going, whatnot, eliminating people before the official eliminations happen, because we're very, very smart. That kind of stuff. So if you're into that, if you want to follow the G1, even if you look, I'd even go as far as to say, if you don't watch the G1 every day, but you listen to me every day, I will make sure that you get the most complete G1 experience, even if you're not watching it. I will make sure of that. I will give you the maximum of myself so that you can follow along, so that it feels like you're there. And I will tell you at the same time, if there are matches that you absolutely have to watch, I will give you recommendations the whole 9 yards. I got you. Starting this weekend. Excited about that. So subscribe, just like Adam Burke Official did. Subscribe. Jake Lee in the G1 is diabolical. I guess no Yano in the G1. You still need a clown to upset someone. I mean, it's the night off guy, right? Both blocks have one of those. He's the guy for, that's it. It's the night off where you don't have to put in effort. It's the Yano spot. That's exactly what it is. Where you don't have to put in the effort. You just, do stupid shit with that idiot Jake Lee. I get having Sonata and Great Okan in the G1 because there's a morbid curiosity to that. But Yoshihashi and Taichi not being in the G1, but Ren and Jake Lee is demonic. I get, like, Jake Lee, I understand what his role is. I fucking hate him. I can't stand him, but I understand what his role is. Sonata being in the G1 and not Taichi, should be brought before the criminal justice system. That makes absolutely no sense to me. And I agree, like Great Okan, who is absolutely phoning it in. This is a guy who does not seem interested in wrestling anymore. I don't know why Taichi's not in this fucking tournament this year. Taichi is so good, and he whips these boys into shape. He is so good at this. You picked the wrong year to start again. Listen, 2 years ago is obviously the last time I did it, because I didn't do it last year. 2 years ago, New Japan was not in a good spot. It really was not in a good spot. I feel like I have a little more confidence, but it's like I said, and I'm going to reiterate it here, because I didn't say it in my pitch, but I'm going to mention it here again nonetheless. The quality of this G1 is going to determine whether or not I continue watching New Japan this year or not, and I just show up for Wrestle Kingdom. Because this company this year so far has been fucking with me way too much and delivering very, very average to mediocre shows outside of Wrestle Kingdom, where I'm like, no. And the booking is this tournament, like the Best of Super Juniors, which I thought started off real good, sort of got really, really weird. And then at some point, everyone's doing fucking bits, right? Anyway, I don't want to. I'm going down that road again. But there was a point where I just started hating the Best of Super Juniors, and I was like, this fucking company, I just want to see some pro wrestling. That's all I want. I don't want wrestlers doing bits with fucking stuffed leopards and barefoot bullshit shenanigans and House of Torture, and then this other guy from DDT, the drunk guy coming in and I don't want any of this. I just want fucking pro wrestling. Is it so hard to ask, right? They're on the chopping block for me because there is more better pro wrestling going on this year. I actually debated if I'm doing the G1 this year or if I'm covering the Cinderella tournament, because I am much more compelled to cover Stardom Cinderella tournament this year, but I won't, because I'm going to be comparing. I'm going to be doing this thing, which I'm looking forward to do. But I swear to God, if they start fucking with me, I am writing off New Japan completely until Wrestle Kingdom 2027. There's too much good wrestling out there still for me to just sit around and wait for this company to be good. I'm done. I've been waiting for them to be good for the past 4 years. So there you go. 2 years ago, Hikuleo made it to the semifinals. See, it ain't so bad this year. Anyway, no, thank you. I hope you guys all, and gals and non-binary pals, I hope you all show up for the updates and whatnot, starting this Saturday. So I only added the official to my handle because I started writing on the Substack. See, that makes it all much more official. Jake Lee reminds me of Saggy the Dark Clown in Yu-Gi-Oh! I love me a good Yu-Gi-Oh! Reference. Yes. 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 I actually like DDT. You know, hello? What the hell happened? Are we still on? Okay, everything's all right. Weird. Everything fucking stuttered. Anyway, yeah. I mean, look, I don't have a problem with DDT in the sense that I can just choose not to watch it because it's not for me. Like it's not for me. But, the DDT shenanigans that end up like in my other promotions that I watch, that's not something that I'm into. I choose not to watch DDT because it's not my kind of wrestling. But if it seeps into the wrestling that I do like, then we have a problem. Then it's like, no, this is not what I signed up for. I'll go watch something else then. Anyway. There we go. So we're wrapping it up for our for the night here. For another lovely evening of hanging out with you fine people. Tune in Thursday. Come back Thursday for the live stream. We are going to be previewing the G1 Climax 36. So we're going to get everyone into we're going to get into the mood. We're going to get everyone into we're going to get everyone into the climax spirit. Look, I don't want to sound like I was really down. I'm going to give it a fair shot. It's just, the elastic has been pulled to the absolute limit. And I don't want it to snap because it'll snap back on my face and, it'll injure me. So, that's what I want, right? That I want to make sure that that's very clear. because I want to get into it. I want to be into it. I hope the show in Chicago is good. Anyway, all of this stuff is starting up. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to do the G1 coverage, the daily G1 coverage again. So there you go. Yeah, there's no other plugs. Oh, Music of the Mat Remix, the show about music and wrestling over there on the Voices of Wrestling podcast network, will be having me as the guest tomorrow. So be sure you subscribe and listen to me and Andrew Rich talk about all sorts of music. I'm not giving away the theme, but it's very family oriented. How about that? There we go. Yeah, that's all I got. I'm trying to think of stuff and I'm trying to extend this, but there's really no reason to. We'll see each other again on Thursday. Mr. Warren Hayes Show gets released on Wednesday on your favorite podcast application. And of course, Thursday, let's not forget the Dynamite review. Probably going to be a big Dynamite review this week because of the big Beach Break show, which I still think it is not not entirely impossible that MJF versus Kenny Omega goes to a draw. Just keep that in mind. Because there's something I feel like they're running the match back again at Redemption. That's just my gut telling me this. Anyway, hey, good job. Thank you for the good jobs. I appreciate it. Hope you all have a great rest of your evening. Dynamite review on Thursday and so on and so forth. Anyway, follow me on Blue Sky and all that stuff. What a terrible outro. Enjoy your week, folks. We'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye.